A snow apocalypse has hit Russia. Kamchatka is paralyzed. Panic in the capital. Moscow is being evacuated. Saratov and Engels are on fire. A terrible night has descended on Russian cities. The electricity is out. Frost reigns across all of Russia. Ukrainian drones are hitting their targets precisely. A snow apocalypse has paralyzed Russian cities with chaos, darkness, and Ukrainian drone strikes causing panic. This is Ukraine Today. I'm Solomia Dolik with the latest. A snow apocalypse has severely struck Russia. A powerful cyclone has battered Kamchatka. Relentless storm winds are ripping off roofs and snowfalls have paralyzed daily life. Residents are staying on remote work, planes have been urgently redirected to other airfields, and roads are blocked by trees uprooted from the ground. Power lines can't withstand the weight of the snow. There are sparks, flashes, and power outages. A snowstorm hit Kamchatka, Russia, causing disruption. Schools in Petropavlovsk, Kamchatka, and Yelizovsky districts. Authorities are sounding the alarm due to the current situation. Many businesses and organizations are now switching their employees to remote work arrangements in order to ensure safety. Schools located in Petropavlovsk, Kamchatka, as well as in the Yelizovsky districts are currently closed for the time being. In certain areas, an avalanche danger warning has been officially declared. Airports in the region are not operating at this time, and all flights have been suspended until further notice. But trouble never comes alone. More than 700 people have been urgently evacuated from the elite Azimut Hotel.
A fire alarm at a Moscow hotel hosting a children's theater festival caused panic. Details are unclear. Basically, we're all standing outside, not knowing what's going on. It's still unclear. Everyone was told to leave the building. Later, it became known that
permanent residents started to be allowed back into the hotel. According to SHOT, the fire alarm turned out to be a false alarm due to a power supply failure. Ukrainian drone sanctions are working. Mom! The territory of the Saratov oil refinery is on fire. Mom, please wait just a second.
Oh, hey, Mom! I'm in shock! I can't believe what I'm witnessing right now! Look, it's burning! Can you see that? It's burning! It's really burning! Look, it's burning and it just keeps going! It's not stopping at all! It's burning! Seriously, it's burning! The flames are getting higher and the smoke is rising fast! Burning! There it is! Right there in front of us! Where is it burning? There, damn! It's happening right next to us! So close that we can almost feel the heat! That's Tamoshan! Tamoshan! Yes, Tamoshan, yes! You heard that, right? Tamoshan is burning right now, right before our eyes. I never thought I would see something like this happening so close to us. They hit it directly at the target. Well, that's what he gets for flying around. One. Another one. Quiet for a moment. Listen carefully. Did you hear that sound just now?
Threat of drone attack. Please listen carefully to the message until the very end. Threat of drone attack. Listen to the message all the way through until the end, then follow the instructions provided. Turn off all electronic devices immediately. Remain calm and attentive. Listen to the message until it is completely finished, and then follow the instructions carefully.
The lights.
Water. Do not approach the windows. Move deeper into the room or into areas located between solid load-bearing walls and without windows.
From the pipes of hysteria echoing softly.
According to eyewitnesses who were present in the area at the time, as many as 7 distinct explosions were clearly heard echoing through the quiet neighborhood shortly after midnight, breaking the stillness of the night and startling residents who had already settled in for the evening.
Sirens wailed loudly throughout the city, echoing through the streets, and people were urgently urged over loudspeakers to stay away from all windows and to immediately and urgently seek shelter for their safety. There was a significant threat of a drone attack. Listen to the message until the end. Unknown objects, drone threat, seek shelter. Follow the instructions. Turn off the lights and water. Do not approach the windows. Move deeper into the room or into areas located between solid load-bearing walls and without windows. There is no official information about the scale of destruction or the number of casualties. There is no official information. The authorities remain silent about the scale of destruction and the number of casualties. Earlier, the regional governor warned about possible drone strikes, and Rosavietsia urgently closed the airport. Russia is in shock. The war has reached deep into the country. Later reports came in about a repeated attack on the city. A powerful explosion suddenly rang out, echoing across the landscape and breaking the uneasy silence that had settled over the area. There was no peace to be found, not even in the territories of occupied Crimea, where the threat of violence always lingers in the background. This was the result of an incredible operation carried out by our forces, who acted with precision and determination. The Guard oil depot, a key facility in the region, came under a targeted attack from Ukrainian drones, demonstrating both the reach and effectiveness of our military efforts. The drones hit the pumping station on the facility's grounds with precision. This is already the 3rd strike on this depot in less than a month. Our forces report that the most critical element of the occupiers' fuel and logistics system in Crimea has been hit. The Guard oil depot supplied military facilities and transport for the Russian army. Now the occupiers are left without fuel and support.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism, and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
Special operations forces continue to. Ukrainian forces struck a key fuel depot in Crimea, disrupting Russian military supplies. This is the 3rd attack on the base in a month. Special operations continue to weaken the enemy and hinder their operations. Every Russian attack on our energy sector comes back twice as powerful. Now it's the Russians who are left without light and heat. Ahead of them lies only cold and chaos. Critical enemy targets are being disabled by the ESU.
Enemy facilities are being taken out of operation. Networks are collapsing. Cities are sinking into darkness. And this is just the beginning. Ukraine is striking back harder, leaving Russian cities in darkness. More details next. On the night of November 9th, the Ukrainian armed forces struck the thermal power plant in Voronezh. After the strike, electricity disappeared and then reappeared in several buildings. Voronezh TPP-1 is the largest supplier of thermal energy in the region and provides it to 4 districts of the city. Right before my eyes, I had just stepped out onto the balcony. It hit right on the wires, you can see it basically. No, well, I heard 3. The governor of the region, Vyacheslav Latkov, stated that the damage is very serious. Our energy workers, as always, are heroically trying to restore it. A missile strike hit Belorad's power plant. Crews are responding. There were also outages recorded there. They are working to restore losses inflicted on the enemy. The day before, Ukrainian drones hit energy sites in Saratov, Engels and Volgograd, causing power outages. Russia is trying to plunge Ukraine into a blackout with drone and missile attacks. In response, Ukraine is striking Russia's energy sector. President Zelensky stated that the authorities are completely and thoroughly ready, absolutely prepared and standing by.
Will not only defend the infrastructure, but will also strike back in response. What will happen with electricity? Today, it's hard for me to say. We will be ready for all challenges in return. We are working on this every day. We will defend. We will fight. The Russians must know that step by step, we will increase the production of everything so that they also feel what we are feeling. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine. In 2025, there is a trend in Russia towards an increase in electricity shortages. As of October this year, the shortage of capacity in the power grid reaches tens of gigawatts. This was reported by the Foreign Intelligence Service of Ukraine. Due to the demand from industrial, residential and municipal consumers exceeding the total generation of all power plants, as of October this year, the shortage of capacity in the power grid has already reached 25 gigawatts. Despite the Russian government's attempts to introduce at least some measures, in addition to the ongoing issues of wear and overload, which continue to pose significant challenges, the Russian energy system is also affected by several other important factors.
Ongoing systematic and targeted strikes by the Ukrainian armed forces. Ukrainian strikes
Even partial damage to Russia's thermal power sector will cause major problems for its energy system. The Ukrainian armed forces have already brought a blackout in southern Russia much closer. Ukrainian strikes are knocking out high-voltage substations that transfer electricity between regions. If thermal power plants are destroyed too, their situation will be much worse than ours. Alexander Karchenko, director of the Energy Research Center.
The attacks by Ukrainian drones and the lack of electricity, not only Russian regions are suffering, but also Moscow.
And this has a very serious and directly anti-propaganda effect. Not only Russian regions, but also Moscow are suffering from Ukrainian drone attacks and the lack of electricity. And this has a very serious and directly anti-propaganda effect for the Kremlin itself, which, let me remind you, claimed that one of the reasons for launching the so-called special military operation was to guarantee security for the Russian Federation itself, as Putin and his entourage explained. Well, as we can see, the war is coming directly to Moscow, and the Muscovites themselves see this. And not only Muscovites, we can see that indeed the geography of Ukraine's drone attacks directly to Moscow.
And the Muscovites themselves see this. And not only Muscovites. We can see that indeed the geography of Ukraine's drone attacks is expanding. Ukrainians have long since gotten used to and adapted to heat and electricity outages. But for Russians, this is an unexpected surprise. So now it's time to stock up
on matches, candles and firewood. Resources.
Are at the limit. Resources are at the limit. Statements about the stability of the Russian economy
do not stand up to fact-checking, and frankly, there is simply no other way to put it. These statements, when examined closely, simply do not hold up under scrutiny. But Putin
is trying to bluff and save face by creating. Putin is attempting to bluff and desperately save face by carefully creating an image of apparent success. But in reality, it's all in vain. The economy.
The Russian Federation is rapidly sliding downward. Nearly 80% of the country's industry has fallen into recession. When we talk about sectors, it means that production in these sectors, compared to the same period, usually the previous year, has become so. Instead of improvement, you have deterioration. And recession is exactly this kind of deterioration when you're in the negative. And when a recession becomes prolonged, meaning it's not just 1 year, but say 3 or 4 years by the end.
By the end of September, overall industrial production growth in Russia had slowed to 0.3% year-on-year. That's almost 19 times less than last year.
And when you produce less, there you go, that's a recession, a negative compared to the previous period.
A particularly sharp decline is observed in those civilian sectors that replacement civilian sectors declined. The foreign companies that left Russia
After the start of the full-scale war. This is the intervention of import substitution when the plan was, let's replace everything. But to replace everything, you have to produce what you will use as a substitute. And if you don't produce, then how are you going to substitute imported products when you're not making anything? Any decline in the economy, of course, means that goods are not being produced. If they are not produced,
then there is no point in keeping the people who produce them. That means unemployment, and unemployment
is always an unpleasant story. The domestic market lacks mass consumer goods, and Russian factories cannot fill the shortage. Even the military sector, production of troops and ammunition, saw little growth. In September this year versus last, it was up only 1.3% in Russia. The central bank has officially predicted for Russia the worst economic scenario since the 1990s.
years of economic decline if sanctions are tightened. If the situation does not improve, by 2026 the Kremlin could lose $108 billion in export revenues. Here, the problems,
let's say for now, at this point in time, are not gaining momentum yet, but in their manifestation, well, the first thing we see is that taxes in Russia are rising from the beginning of the year. The federalization levy will be on December 1st. The environmental tax will increase tenfold from November 1st. That's literally in a week, just a few days. So it turns out that all these various economic problems are cropping up more and more often, and they constantly appear in the news because, you know, it's a kind of zugzwang when you don't have a good option.
Russian Sberbank, following Gazprom, has begun mass layoffs. In the first quarter, the staff of the largest bank, which holds half of all individual deposits, decreased by
8,600 employees, in the second quarter by 3,500, and in the third by 1,500. Sberbank of Russia, as they see now, this is a direct quote from Sberbank CEO Herman Gref, there is not a single new investment project planned for 2025 that is engaged in such.
Is the reality. Only Putin is trying to hide it all. But he can no longer escape it. This is the reality. Only Putin is trying to hide it all, but there is nowhere left to run. The economy is cracking, the country is losing. And
what do you think about the troubles that are befalling Russia? We look forward to your comments. And what do you think about the troubles that are befalling Russia? We look forward to your comments, more to come. Stay informed about the main events and don't forget to like. Wishing you peaceful skies above. See you soon.